Well, hey guys, welcome to the Sound Guys. What's up? I'm Banjo Bob. We're doing another quarantine edition of the popular podcast sweeping the nation and taking your ears by storm. I am
Especially with
again,
Omicron going crazy right now.
we can't even see you, neighborhood Nick. All we see is a rotating globe.
That's all you see. Well, here I am.
Oh, the technology, Nick. The technology.
We're
Who
going
is that?
fancy. We're
Is
going
that neighborhood
fancy.
Nick?
This is the wonderful neighborhood, Nick. I'm out of this world, baby.
We're making cheap 1980s dating videos. That's the deal. I don't have my green screen for the video folks that are watching. I don't have that, and I didn't have time to set it up. So we're just using all the cool plugins and filters that Zoom has, and I'm wearing my cool sunshades. I like them.
Use those sunshades.
And neighborhood Nick's over there wearing his whatever. So, anyways, that's that. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for investing in your time with us. You know the drill. We have a lot of cool things to talk about today, don't we, neighborhood Nick?
We most certainly do. There is a lot of pressing matters in this world that we just have to address. We have to have a quality dialogue all about. And you know what's most pressing at this moment?
What, neighborhood Nick? What?
How people speak.
Oh.
Enunciation.
Enunciation?
Enunciation. In particular, ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about voice text.
What?
You know, when you talk into your phone and it sends it out as a text message.
I do.
Yeah, you're a fan of this. I love this technology.
Big fan.
And I know a lot of people love to use this technology, but it always comes at a cost. And that cost is very serious and sometimes horrendously incorrect words. The vocabulary of the voice text.
The grammar on that you botched poorly.
I did it completely. Because I'm using voice text right now.
Exactly. The point here is that neighborhood Nick is trying to say that I think over the past 2 years, as we have been quarantined and working virtually and all the fun things that we do, we have become lazy with the diction and the enunciation in which we speak.
Very much so.
Yes.
And it comes at the cost not of the sender, which can have some embarrassment factors in it, but to the receiver having absolutely no idea about what the message is actually all about.
And then on top of that, having to try and continue the conversation while you don't know what they've said.
Exactly. So the real question that we have to ask ourselves is, how has it come to this point? How do we fix voice text?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. The first thing we do is install Elon Musk's brain chip, the Neuralink. We need to sign up for that as quickly as we can, because with Neuralink, we'll be able to no longer need to use our voices, our thoughts, everything that we think right now. We can just choose to opt in and share with our listeners telepathically, right through the neural network. Done.
Ladies and gentlemen, in case you did not know, for those listening to this podcast, he had a piece of pizza on his head. I just noticed.
I did?
You did. He doesn't know how to use Zoom, ladies and gentlemen.
Listen, man, I'm just going through little things I see and I'm clicking them because, oh.
He is now a bunny rabbit.
It's a good thing I have this confidence monitor right here. Boy, howdy, do I look smashing. And see, folks, that's really what technology has come down to. I mean, really, It's not the art of being able to communicate effectively. It's how much augmented reality junk can you put on your face in real time.
It's
And we're
true.
pushing hardware to the max. Can you imagine that we were able to get people on the moon with less than 64K? And now we have to have at least 16 gigs of RAM. We have to have at least 3.4 gigahertz of CPU cycles put
Mm-hmm.
across 4 cores. Okay.
Yep.
And it's ideal if we have an SSD, which is over 10,000 to 20,000 cycles of computation per second or millisecond, however that's rated. The point is all of that so I can be talking to you with a real-time blurred background and a bunny face over my original face, all being done real time, no special artificial, tracking and jazz. I mean, let me talk about that. That's one thing. And we'll get back to your stupid voice texting because that drives me absolutely nuts anyways, neighborhood Nick. But the point is this. I'm an old school guy. I guess I'm just getting older as it is. My neck hurts. That's how old I am. And so, the thing is,
It's true. He
yeah,
complains about it all the time.
my neck hurts trying to carry the weight of this show. But the thing, that's a good one. The thing, though, is that when I used to work in CGI, and yeah, right, I know, pilot, I know, CGI, this guy. But no, seriously, we used a program called Blender, and then we also used 3ds, which was 3D Studio Max. And my job in compositing was to basically just make simple worlds and kind of brand things out to where the rest of the VFX guys could bring in and actually make the particles or whatever it may be. So like say you'd set up a green screen, you want to have an explosion where the people are running from it. You would, my job would be to blend the real world with the fake world or the augmented world to make sure that background had continuity in the shot. So it's really difficult, say, with a tracking shot to where if, they had 30 feet, 40 feet of dolly, and in this 10-second clip or this 20-second clip, they're pulling pretty heavy and the actors are running towards or from the camera. And, you've got all this movement. Well, the thing is that background has to remain very consistent because once you move from the fake or the real world into the augmented world, it needs to be seamless. That was my job. And then the VFX guys would put in the rest of the stuff, the smoke and the haze and all the jazz. It was really cool. So we use 3D Studio Max, we'd use Blender, to name a few. And those programs are still kind of an industry standard, but now with the use of null objects and tracking pixels and things like that, you could very easily set up that same scene and find a object that remains stationary and basically put your null object on that stationary item in that one-dimensional plane. Because think of it, video is one-dimensional essentially. You're looking at it from a flat plane, even though you have to kind of render it in a three-dimensional space. So in any event, that happened, but it took hundreds of man hours to really make these awesome VFX scenes. And like what's happening now, I'm a bunny. I'm a bunny right now. And to have all of this like digital makeup and all these things, I would have to put literally pieces of makeup on my nose. I'd have a little black dot right here. I'd have a black dot on the different portions of my face to create a digital double. And that digital double would be done by me marking my face with makeup. And then I would, render the overlay on my face. And to do all that in real time took a crazy amount of processing. And the fact that here we are today and that we still have pollution, we don't have affordable housing, we have homeless, we don't have people that can actually work, but yet I can put a freaking bunny on my face and look at it go. Blows my mind as to the priorities of humanity and the direction that we are heading. Bill Watterson said it best, and it was Calvin and Hobbes. The surest sign that intelligent life exists is the fact that none of it has tried to contact us, because this is the crap that we continue to put out. And so, yeah, let me go back to my cool sunshades and in real time. I'm just pulling. I mean, the proxy. I'm pulling up different proxies, and they're in real time. I don't have a lick of it, a lick of makeup on my face, and it's just doing a stellar job. And look, it even blurs out my phone that I'm using as a confidence monitor. It just no, granted, this is the day of the entrepreneur. Don't get me wrong. I mean, there are ways to take technology, and we pay a license to use Zoom. They get good money from us, and I feel like the trade-off of what we make as a company that we pay Zoom for these services are cool and all, but I have never used the blurred background, the cool shades. Businesses don't want that. They want reliable platforms. They want things where they can have communication between a large audience and make it feel seamless. So the fact that I just, it just blows my mind. It literally blows my mind, the day and age that we live. And I could go on. I could really go, but I know we don't want to detract. Actually, no, I am going to go on because I'm pissed. Because think about it. I mean, like, and the fact with humanity, let's just go back to the core of human decency. Kurt Vonnegut said it. We need a little less love and a little more common decency. Right now, in 2022, we are dealing with what? All sorts of stuff. We're about to go to war with Russia. We're about to kill our neighbor because they voted for someone else. We've got to stay away from these people because they chose to vaccinate or they chose to unvaccinate. I'm going to go there. I think really the thing about it is that people should be able to make choices, and we shouldn't be able to harm others. Now, you can argue, well, because the vaccine will harming, fine. Then, let's work that out. But it shouldn't be violent. I hate the fact that we have turned it into this right in, these polarized groups that cannot have any common ground, any common conversation or decency. It goes from 0 to 11, and there's no way for us to go maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, and then dial it back. It's just boom, full throttle, everything we do. And even in the homeless community, back in the day when I was, I was homeless, I was advocating, which was really cool. In the bigger cities, the police department, we governed our own. We had spokespersons that would essentially, be the rep for our particular community or whatever. They would work with, local agencies, police department or whatever. And there was kind of this common decorum, like, okay, hey, listen, let me talk to my rep. He's over here in that dishwasher box over there. So let me get him. We'll knock on his cardboard box and we'll see if he's home. But there was order. And I don't see any of that. And I don't see that in voice text either, Neighborhood Nick, because with voice texting right now, it's requiring us to be more and more clearer the way we talk. And I don't like to be clear and concise. I'd rather mumble my way through life and die. So I'm just
how well has that worked for you?
Huh?
How well has that worked for you on the voice text?
Not well. Not well at all. I've offended 14 clients. I've solicited apparently the finance director of a couple major institutions, insurance institutions that we work with. One of them thought I was propositioning them for a night out on the town. So yeah, I need to start enunciating. Or I just need to, get less busy, because here's the thing, and that's another thing, we Neighborhood Nick and I, we're not breaking up the band. You can see that but he's not in the band next to me. We go through seasons of busyness, and right now we're in a busy season, and Neighborhood Nick has decided to, branch off and, get a real job working for the government as a political scientist, doing what political scientists do, which is
nothing.
What?
We don't really do a whole lot. We just do research and tell people, hey, this is what we think happens here. That's what we do.
See, so for me, I would prefer to actually affect change in a small way. I mean, a client comes to us and they ask for a solution, we give it to them and they love it. They're always like, wow, you thought this up and you made it work, and we didn't think it was possible, but you made it possible. Thank you. We are lifelong friends, lifelong customers. That's the kind of change I want to do. I don't want to hypothesize and be like, this might work. But whatever. That's cool, neighborhood Nick. That's cool. What am I in?
You're a bear.
Hey, boo boo.
Sure thing.
Picking that basket, eh? Anyways, all right. Sorry. That was, every once in a while, every like 5 episodes I go off on a tangent. So sorry about that, folks. If you agree or you disagree or whatever, feel free to comment. Do what you gotta do. Comment, like, subscribe, because the thing is this, hello. I look pretty good. And for those folks who are watching on the video side, you get an extra special treat this time around, as you get to see all of the fun filters that I'm pushing through on the Zoom platform, because this is the best we've come up with as humanity. We haven't cured cancer. We haven't been able to cure COVID, but we can definitely put a lioness's face on mine in real time without any tracking makeup whatsoever. So 2022 is looking great. I love it. Actually, and another thing. Let's be real. Let's be real while we're talking about COVID and I'm keeping my mask on and all that stuff. I will just put this out here very briefly, and I don't have any data to back this up, but I do find it fascinating that we don't have hospitalists who stay on shift from a residency standpoint. The majority of the hospitals that I've seen through lectures and working with administration, because we do, from a virtual standpoint, we have to work with hospitals. You end up having an MD or a DO on deck for about 4 to 5 days, and then they jump ship. So that entire patient load that they're working with gets handed over to a totally new direction. And that person, that doctor, is now in charge and has another 4 to 5 days to determine what they want to do with their patient load. 9 times out of 10, from what at least I've seen, it's never is it the same direction. The doctor wants to go someplace else with certain patients. And sometimes the note-taking practices here are absolutely abhorrent. And what I see is that I'm just going to put this out there, patients may be actually dying because of this practice. I don't understand why we don't have hospitals today that say, if you have a doctor here and you have a doctor there, you have doctors in facilities. Why don't we keep them in these facilities so that they can see their treatment plans through to the end, which may be from intake to releasing the patient? What would that be? From admitting to releasing, or from admitting to deceasing? Whatever.
Is this in reference to the traveling nurse and traveling doctors programs that are happening?
Yeah, this is ridiculous. Absolutely.
So you actually make a lot more money as a traveling nurse or as a traveling doctor than you do as a faculty doctor.
Yes. And that's what I'm getting at. I would allege, without any data, except just my own personal observations, and trust me, I have a lot of observations in this field, that we have put, it's always been that way. You see it in the movies, you see it in everything. We're continuing to put money before health, money before the life and the value of humanity. Because if you can make more money just jumping around, doing what you want to do and have your own ideas and be like, well, we tried it. Hopefully that works out for you guys. I'm going to go to another place and try this, witchcraft here. And then there's no accountability either, because that doctor is now back in Iowa for all they know. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
And what drives me nuts, I keep a look at the stock tracker, which I love. I mean, and you guys can look this up too. I love this. This is a great conspiracy. you can look at what stocks, the Senate, the House, these guys all buy. Fine. Senate tracker, Congress tracker, and no, House of Representatives tracker. And you can see where certain stocks were purchased in bulk. I love this. Well, we pushed, and granted, all the vaccines, go get them. Go get one. If you feel good about it, grab it. They all have different, chemical ways of, making themselves awesome. It's mainly protein. Get your protein, grab some shots. Let's go to town. But
just eat a steak.
Huh?
Just eat a steak and be happy.
Get
That's
healthy.
a secret.
Hey, take your vitamin D. Blah blah blah. Okay, so anyways, let me.
Don't forget your orange clove tea.
No, orange clove tea is the best, by the way. Orange clove tea actually really helps with the respiratory. But anywho, so you already know where I'm going with this. We already know that there was a ton of purchasing from the Pfizer prior to the FDA approving, and we've pushed Pfizer. How come no one's talking about the pump and dump from Kodak? Why are we no one's talking about that? And does anybody ever remember that Kodak announced that they're going to get into the vaccine game? Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Kodak, we're going to start Kodak vaccinations. Kodak, yeah, the click pick company, the photos, the film, yeah, they're going to start making vaccines. And that announcement alone came on the heels of pre-buying by people that were inside. Stock went from like $7 to like $50 overnight. Be like, oh, Kodak's now back in the game. I can't believe it. Then all those clowns, they dumped their $50 shares right at the top, left all the morons holding the bag. It's just a classic pump and dump. But no one talked about it. No one went to jail. No one had to get a little slap on the wrist. It was very hush hush. Okay, it's a dirty game we play, all of it. And we talk about, it's all the Remdesivir or whatever it may be. It was the magic drug that all the conservatives were talking about. I know, I'm not going to pick on the conservatives.
Don't forget about ivermectin and hydrochloroquine.
Yeah, they were all talking about it. But here's the deal. Ivermectin was actually, there's a lot of misinformation on that one. Ivermectin was picked on because it's a livestock antiviral or some BS.
In extreme amounts.
Yeah, there's two different versions of it, though. You've got one for livestock, and you actually have one that was being used kind of like your general penicillin.
Yep.
And the thing is, the Remdesivir or whatever it was actually was being used as the primary go-to on both sides of the schools of thinking. But the challenge was they found that it really wasn't working, but they kept pushing it. The monoclonal antibodies, that was doing, and you had the ivermectin and big doses of vitamin D, all of just the natural holistic stuff that these DOs are pushing. And bear in mind, DOs and MDs, they both, are Western medicine. But the DOs like to really peel back the layers of the onion, and they're still admittable. They are practicing docs. They're not chiropractors who want to call themselves doctors. No, they're doctors. Anyways, so I say all that because the Remdesivir, the company that puts that out, same beef. They had a big deal. They basically reached out to a lot of the major medical foundations and said, hey, you push our product, we'll give you a discount, but we're also gonna get some kickbacks and bill insurance, blah, blah, blah. And that was all in their latest, we have an NDA with them, so I can't really go full into detail, but there was a sales conference that they did for the top 50 pharmaceutical companies. We did some AV for those guys. And I'm just jaw dropping because the common story that these guys, when they get up on the platform, they say is how to turn your practice into $1 million practice if you're a small practicing physician. And then if you're a big foundation, names are going to mention, but I mean, they call it a foundation for a reason. So you just Google medical foundations and you'll get a list of them. Those foundations were at this meeting and like how to make a 1 billion practice. That's all they care about. They're not talking about the patient. They're not talking about how to take care and solve issues. Like even Dr. Fauci, maybe he really is. Maybe I'm not saying he's a bad guy. I'm not saying he's a good guy, but he might be genuinely interested in trying to get things fixed. Now, maybe he's getting a book deal. Maybe he's getting some things. Fine. Okay. But when you look at the people behind the scenes that are pulling the strings, that are all the administrators and the people that are actually purely about the money, it's getting pretty nasty. And that's all I have to say. It just upsets me. It upsets me that we are so just driven by making my practice $1 million practice or making my practice $1 billion practice when we have totally forgotten about the patient. And I can be a little piggy in real time, and we've got that solved, but we still can't cure cancer, and we're spending that's all, billions of dollars on it.
Well, this goes into the entire medical industrial complex issue as well.
Oh, yeah.
Where we have medicines that the government has to buy, which keeps people employed, which allows more medicine to be made, but you have to keep pumping even more money into it in order to make more medicine. And there's really no incentive to fully cure something.
Nope.
Because then if you have no more patients, you have no more money coming in.
Yeah. It's
even worse than the military industrial complex.
We'll throw money at something. I wish we had more customers in the medical field, because it just feels like shooting fish in a barrel financially. I told you about did you know about the laptop gig?
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, dude, we literally delivered a laptop, and it was a laptop. We connected it to the screen, and we made sure their PowerPoint worked, and they gave us the PowerPoint, and we installed it. Do you know how much that built for?
500.
870. $870 to deliver a laptop, plug it into a TV, give them a clicker, and be like, all right, we'll be back. I was like, hey man, I want more of those gigs.
Would be nice.
I was just like, yeah, so I don't know, man. So anywho, voice text, honestly, quite frankly, I don't know why it's such a botched thing, because I am Cool Shades Banjo Bob talking to you right now, and I don't understand why the technology cannot pick up my mumbles and decipher
I have a dog.
What I'm saying.
I have a dog.
Oh, it's Bonnie.
It's
cute. Jeez. Anyways, good start there, neighborhood Nick. I like it. Well,
I did have more to go off of the voice text, but then you went on your rambling. Because
is our show brought to you by the letter Q? I thought we had like do we have a sponsor? NordVPN.
Not yet. Not yet.
Tell you what, folks, our show is sponsored by NordVPN. So Nord, if you're listening, you always can sponsor us. All right, back to you, Nick.
Anyway, what I was going to say, going further down the cellular device debacles that are happening, is not only does the voice text have issues, but then it has issues with people that have any kind of accent as well. And the fascinating thing is that even the camera technology seems to be having these issues as well, depending on where the phone is made. Are you familiar with this debacle?
No.
So, for example, if a phone is made in America, the camera will have some filters and everything that are to try to make people more beautiful and more handsome according to an American standard. Meanwhile, a phone like Huawei, Samsung, Honor, phones of this nature will have filters and built-in things in their phones to try to beautify people in a standard set by China or South Korea or Japan, wherever the phone is produced. Well, this has caused some very fascinating issues, and this was addressed years ago, but it seems to be coming back to where certain phones are making people look more white than they actually are. Some phones are making people darker than they actually are. Some will even go as far as to change hair color and eye color as just a common regular. You open up the camera, boom, there you go.
Wow. You're not actually getting a native, like a native just image, like untouched image. No, like right from the camera app, you're gonna get a white or a dark face with red hair.
With some camera phones, yes.
Who makes these things?
It depends if it's Samsung, Huawei, Sony,
Who makes the Pixel? Who
Google.
makes? Yeah, but who's the white label service underneath the Google?
I think Google is technically an American brand still. I mean, of course, it's assembled in China, but the software and the hardware, I believe, is developed in the United States still.
Oh, okay. So then I can stay my current. So I can stay my current, my American self.
And it also will
For those of you who
depend.
understand the accent, I was wearing a beret. I was wearing a virtual beret. For those who don't understand why I just broke into a French accent, FYI.
It will also depend upon the agreement that companies have with cameras as well, as not all cameras are made the same. Let's see.
So lousy. And that goes back to the fact is like, you have these deals that people make, and it's like the consumer never wins, but yet we stick in, we'll just gobble this stuff up, and also let's talk about, while you're looking all that crap up.
It's HTC.
Oh yeah, I forgot about those guys.
HTC is the main producer. Let's see, Foxconn, HTC, and LG were the main producers for the Google Pixel.
Check it out. HTC, their last major hit was the Tilt 2 for AT&T, like back in 2007. And this is actually the reason why I was such a big believer on BlackBerry as a stock pick. Because even though BlackBerry phones have gone the way of Old Yeller, they're disconnected, they're no longer, they're paperweights. BlackBerry still maintained a lot of its technology. And I mean, and a lot of people are just like, no, it's game over for BlackBerry. So I mean, maybe it is, but they still have some great tech.
BlackBerry is still doing software updates for a lot of their older phones, unlike any other phone company.
Well, then there's that too. But I'm talking about their integrated tech with vehicles and the strategic partnerships that they have with vehicle manufacturers. It's the same thing that HTC did, because they realized that, hey, we've got some really good tech that we're putting. I mean, the HTC Tilt ran on like a Windows 5.0, Windows CE backend, and it was super snappy for its time. Now, the first one was kind of lame, and everyone was like, whatever. But where the HTC Tilt really shined was in the camera technology, was in the responsiveness of its touchscreens, which was pretty much stylus driven, back then. And they maintained that, and so they stopped making phones, as far as I know. I mean, I think they're still making phones, aren't they? Or are they not?
HTC?
Yeah, I don't think they are. Let me see. Let's see, because long story short, they're all just doing tech now, as far as I know. So, anyways, maybe I'm wrong. I'll look it up and then we'll find out.
So shortly. It looks like HTC is still making phones. Its latest, the HTC Desire 20 Pro and Wildfire R70, are not flagships, but pitched instead at the lower end of the market.
Ooh. What's the HTC Exodus? A blockchain phone?
I've never heard of that.
This is cool. The HTC Exodus.
Hold on. Let me look that up.
blockchain phone. Yeah. So apparently it's the largest crypto exchange meets the Swiss bank in your pocket. So the
Here you are,
vision
sir.
is
Take a look at it.
rebuilding trust one phone at a time. So it says, we believe we can rebuild the internet together by empowering the people to own their own identities, personal data, and assets. Okay.
This is the design. You can see it on my screen. Just so you are aware. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the HTC Exodus. A picture of it, at least.
Oh,
It's kind of snazzy. Looks kind of cool.
I feel like this is just more crap.
It looks like it. But it's pretty snazzy. I mean, it's got
This
some
is
interesting
kinda
stuff
like-
to it. It's a
this is kinda
see-through
like-
phone.
What was that thing they're doing? Not the Bobcat miners. What's that open source Wi-Fi? Helium. It's called Helium,
Yes.
and this kind of smells like that. Helium is a great concept because it is truly crowdsourced, and so everybody basically creates their own people's internet. Now, if this was, I kind of smell a rat. If they were pushing Helium in the very beginning on their lander page here, I'd be like, yeah, these guys have, pure intents. But the fact that they're pushing this Binance thing, and Binance isn't even allowed in the United States. I think Binance is only UK. I don't think you can trade on. Basically, ISPs will not allow you to access Binance servers. You would have to go through a VPN, brought to you by NordVPN. You'd have to go through a VPN to get yourself over to the UK to be able to use Binance. If I understand correctly, I may be a little shady on that. But the moral of the story here is this: you can't necessarily have a blockchain phone that's still based on a exchange such as Binance that is still privately held. It's not really held by the people. It's not necessarily like blockchain is, as I understand it, supposed to be people adding to the worldwide ledger, whereas Binance is the exchange where that ledger is done. So yeah, I understand we have to have an exchange, but Helium, on the other hand, as I understand it, would provide that. Because if you are your own access point and you are tethering and sharing data with other Helium hotspots across the world, then you in exchange are just piggybacking off of everybody else. And it's a true society. Just like I see someone, I talk to them. How's the weather over there? The weather's great. That I use my voice to ask them, how are they doing? And there was an exchange. So with Helium, same beef, just all done digitally and silently. But anyways, HTC folks, cool stuff. Now we know.
There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much.
Anyways, neighborhood Nick, I feel like we're off the rails. I don't even use voice text. Voice text is now going into cameras. Cameras are now turning us into different ethnicities and skin color. And yeah, okay, that's cool. That's really
Not
cool.
only that, but I mean, now we have the ability to digitally do these wonderful deep fakes.
I like deep fakes.
I love the Hitler and Stalin deep fake where they're singing "Video Killed the Radio Star."
I watch that every morning.
That one is absolutely, especially Stalin when he does.
Dude, that's my favorite part.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
It's like the cats from Aristocats. Remember that old,
Yes.
that old Disney film, and you had what's her face, the white kitten. She was like, and she was. There's just the personalities that the animators put into those, into those cartoons. Oh, speaking of Disney, though, I tell you what, the Mickey Mouse shorts, the new ones that they put out a couple years ago, those are funny, man. Because what they've done is they've still kind of kept the animation and
They kept to the spirit of
yeah,
the
the
original Mickey
essence.
Mouse.
Yeah, the essence of what it was, but they've bombarded it full of pop culture references
Yep.
and meme culture. It's just funny. Oh my goodness. Anyways, sorry. That's a digression. That's like a page 4. If you're into that kind of thing, I encourage you guys, stop the car, pull over, look up Mickey Mouse shorts, find the playlist, invest the next 5 hours of your day. Don't go to work, watch it. It's worth it.
There's some brilliant ones out there. Brilliant ones.
Brilliant. You
Brilliant.
describe it like a fine wine.
It's fantastic.
It's like
Mwah.
I tell you what, that Mickey Mouse short, it just couldn't, it hit the heart. It hit the heart. I think I'm gonna stay with this TV one. I like this TV.
It's a fine, fine short.
It's a fine French wine. All right, well that's cool. So Nick, what do you suppose? Are we all gonna die then? Is that what you're saying? With the whole, we're gonna start World War III because someone thinks they're a different ethnicity?
Well, no, this is the fascinating bit, is
Oh.
that people from different countries actually confronted phone companies about this. In particular, the ones made in Asia, because Samsung, Huawei, those are still very popular phones around the world.
Hmm.
And in particular, this was fascinating. In Africa, they were complaining about the phone making them look white or even Asian, changing their skin color so dramatically that they couldn't even recognize themselves in the camera.
Do you have pictures of this?
I could try to find something.
I can't believe you'd bring up the story without actually.
You expect me to
showing-
do any work on all of this stuff?
Like I said, this is such a grandiose story that I'm like, this is crazy that this is actually happening. There would have to be at least some countless, or at least a few side by side comparisons as to, hey, this is me, my picture through a DSLR or the Sony A7, and this is me through my Google Pixel 6. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so I'm going to see if I can find.
Oh my goodness, you don't have any of this data? I mean the actual assets?
I don't know if I can get the pictures because people don't really post all of that stuff, but it's
Why
based
wouldn't
off
they?
of
They're
a
telling
New
the
York.
story.
It's based off of a New York Times article that has no pictures.
Well, that's kind of sus, don't you think? I mean, New York Times should at least have some examples.
It should, you would think, right? It really should. This is based off of a 2019 New York Times article, by the way.
This kind of feels like BuzzFeed now. We're just running with a hunch. We're just taking it to press. Jeez, Nick, our listeners trust us. We trust the sound guys to deliver competent, data and information. Now, granted,
I know.
if we say it's conjecture or we say it's maybe a hypothesis, hey, we put that disclaimer out there. But for you to come to our audience of the millions and millions of people that listen to us right now, and they're like, hey, wow, what a crazy thing for my phone to want to change. What about an interracial relationship? Why don't we? I would say right now, okay, listen, for those of you who are in a relationship with someone who is significantly a different skin tone of yourself, take a picture of yourself, and then I want you to take a picture of your significant other or your partner, and I want you to email it to us or comment it on our Instagram or our YouTube, because we have to see. And then also talk about your phone's model, iPhone, HTC.
That would be
Samsung
great if they
Galaxy.
could do that.
Huh?
That would be amazing if they did that.
I would like some of our listeners to do that, because the thing is, I'm kind of calling BS. If you have a New York Times article, a big, should be well trusted, publication, okay, putting out a flame on these companies without any pictures and just kind of like, this is what was reported, but they have no like physical evidence in terms of pictures. I would go from the conspiracist that I am. I would say that New York Times, the holding company which runs New York Times, has something against something. They bet down on one of the phone companies. They have some money involved on this. Same reason what happened with the Hindenburg Flame report on Nikola trucks. Now, granted, they weren't wrong, but the public was just so infatuated with Nikola trucks that like there's nothing. I mean, Trevor Milton's our new God and Savior, and just we're gonna buy. But then Hindenburg comes out and says, actually, Nicole is just a bunch of, they're dumb as bricks and they got nothing going. And here's why. And then everyone was like, ooh, what? And then everybody just like stop, just sell. Well, of course, that, that led to a lot more blowback. Trevor steps down as CEO. Dude, he had his brother who basically his LinkedIn prior to being the lead engineer of hydrogen technology, he was a pool boy. He ran a pool cleaning service like for 20 years. And all of a sudden it's like his brother's just going to be the hydrogen expert. Really? No, come on.
I think that makes sense.
Yeah, man. It's just like, yeah, I'm not a doctor, but I play one on TV. So whatever. Yeah, whatever. So maybe, but the New York Times article still seems sus. And have you been able to uncover any photos on the interweb there?
I've been doing basic searches real quick. It's mainly Photoshop.
And
a lot of Photoshop stuff.
Wait, what do you mean Photoshop stuff?
What do I mean? Like people are using Photoshop to change other people's racial skin makeup.
Right.
Turning
so we don't have a
turning like Will Smith white kind of thing.
So we don't have any like back to back, like look what my phone did.
No, I do know there was at one point, there was actually a few YouTubers who do phone reviews and whatnot that did kind of see how this changed. And it's more or less, Bonnie, calm down. It's more or less there, pup.
It's like, did we lose Nick? Did his dog end the call?
Nah, stay. No. There are some she's trying so hard to get back into the camera shot.
That's good. Oh, I see her right there in the corner.
There was I'm losing my train of thought now.
Yes, you are. This is unraveling quickly.
It's basically where the cameras, depending on how much they allow for light exposure, will change the picture quality. So some pictures will look whiter and brighter than others. Some will have more of a red hue to it. And this was mainly being seen, especially from Asian smartphones, such as Samsung, Huawei, Honor, LG, the list goes on and on.
Sure.
Where, especially for like selfie cameras or anything like that, it would adjust skin tone, make it a little redder on the cheeks, go for more of a makeup look.
Okay. I can buy that because what I'm hearing in that kind of what you've just described, that 30-second bit, is that the phone manufacturers could defend themselves by saying, no, that's just the color profile of the cameras that we send out. Because from a photography standpoint, we know that the camera, the Canon 5D Mark III, did pull a little green on its chip, and we were always trying to bring that green tone down in post. The Nikons, same story. They pulled a little red. So I mean, different color, different chips. I think it was the Digic 7. That's Canon's image processor. That's the Digic series DI. I think I talked about that. DIGIC Digic, and they have all the way from the Digic 1 to I think the Digic 8 now, or the Digic 9, and that's their core image processor. So no, I buy that. But I still, it could be. I can still be conspiracist on it. I can still. I won't disagree. I won't say you're incorrect because if it was a New York Times article, then yeah, it there. But I would still be interested to see if there's some if there was some investment in that article as to why New York Times would push put. And did they name the companies directly?
Kodak.
They did.
Yeah, they were talking about like the actual handheld cameras, and they subtly mention or phone cameras. And so I
Hmm.
am currently looking for an actual phone camera.
It'd be interesting to do a little more research off the show about when that article hit. Check stock prices of the companies at the time that article ran, and see if there was any major, bumps, in the upward or downward trend, just to kind of see. Because then you could back reverse and be like, okay, well, if Samsung took a pretty major hit at the time that article was published, then you could see who was holding options betting down and who would have profited from the article going out, and then reverse that and see how many of those people that profited on the article actually had some type of holdings in the company, the parent company for New York Times,
That could be very fascinating.
if you want to. But I mean,
It might take
why?
some time.
I'm
might take
using
some time.
technology right now to be on a fake TV with a blurred background, and it's all happening in real time. I don't have time for that other nonsense. You kidding me? Just pay me. That's it. So, well, that's a good story, Nick. I appreciate the neighborhood, Nick. You've done well. You've done your country well. Brought to you by NordVPN. And who are we, by the way? We're the Sound Guys. I'd like to say thank you if you've stuck with us this long, then you're a true Sound Guys fan. And if you're a true Sound Guys fan, we're going to be sending out Sound Guys merch. That's right. To our first 15 subscribers within a period of the next month from this time, we'll be making up some cool commemorative Sound Guys t-shirts. Trust the Sound Guys. And those Sound Guys t-shirts will be mailed to the first 15 subscribers, and they'll be available on our merch store. Isn't that right, Neighborhood Nick?
Exactly, ladies and gentlemen. Be
And
sure to pick those up.
And Neighborhood Nick's going to be setting up the merch store for us because I'll design the shirts. He'll sell them. What else we got on this topic, man? I got a whole bunch of topics. I had stuff to talk about. I feel like we've gone through a full hour, man.
Well, have we?
I don't know. There's no way to tell on this.
You're the one with the timer.
No, I just hit record.
Oh.
It's a pity. That's the one thing that's kind of lacking on this Zoom thing, because you never know. Nope, it doesn't say. There's no countdown. So for the Zoom folks that are actually listening to us, yeah, probably add a timer on your recording so we can know how long we've. And I have a yawn, so it must be a full 60. I mean,
I think at that point it may be time.
Shoot. Well, our next episode, if we ever get a chance to do it, is why I'm going to wear my mask indoors and in my car. What else do I have here? Oh, eBay fees. We need to talk about eBay fees. We need to talk about when drugs and alcohol. Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, like talk about the conspiracy. There is really not a short or a run on anything, because when drugs and alcohol become scarce, then we actually have a run on the economy. Talk about Toyota, and they suck. I love Toyotas. Toyota, Honda, Mazda. Oh, great cars. But this whole new subscription service thing, making you have to pay more into the investment, that's got to stop. And that started in 2019. So we're going to talk about that. Also, the metaverse. Got to talk more about that trash. We were right. We were absolutely right. A couple podcasts ago, we were not wrong. And Zuckerberg's a fool. And he's trying desperately, because he sees 3, 4, 5 years down the road, there will be no Facebook. He knows it. And he's trying desperately to maintain, because he has no exit strategy. No exit strategy. And I advise anybody, if you're long on Facebook, you're a fool. Buy put options. Oculus headsets. Yep, I want to talk about those too. That was a niche product. Really do like the AR movement. Honestly, man, That's the one thing I really want to be doing. I really want to be doing more augmented reality. And actually, I don't want to give up the ghost on that one though. But yeah, we have a lot to talk about. Doggone it, Nick. We'll have to
That's
cover
only
this
your
next time.
topics.
Yeah, you don't even your topics are baseless just off of a New York Times article with no photos. Come on, man. I don't read. I need pictures. You kidding me? Anyways,
I'll
whatever.
find pictures for you.
Hey, you guys have invested another hour with the Soundguys podcast.com. I am Banjo Bob, joined by
The neighborhood Nick.
That's right. We really enjoy you being here with us. And, we like you to keep that coming along. If you know a friend who would really enjoy the podcast, why don't you twist their arm? Why don't you say, hey, man, listen to this thing on your daily commute? Pop us in. Yeah.
See what happens.
That's all you got to do. So we're like a fine wine. We get better with time. We get better with time.
At least that's the hope. That's
Shut
at least
up.
the hope.
No, that's not the hope.
Hopefully, we're not like an open soda that's just losing its carbonation and just becomes syrup.
Ooh, that is miserable. No, I like my fine wine.
Or a
Not
hot
nothing.
chocolate that left for too long melts the marshmallows into a foam and becomes cold and stale.
No, hot chocolate never gets stale. You may get
Oh,
cold.
yes, it does.
No, it gets cold, but it doesn't get stale. Haven't you used hot chocolate? It just turns into chocolate milk. Put that in your Kicks. Yeah. Or your Wheaties. Or your Fruit Loops. Or even your Lucky Charms. Lucky Charms. Yeah.
They're magically delicious.
No, not anymore. It's just
Yes, they
more
are.
the same.
They are magically
7 essential
delicious.
vitamins and minerals to help a growing boy.
Grow round.
True. Yeah. Well, I think that's also the style of clothes because we need to stop wearing barrels with suspenders. That would help.
This is true. This is
Yep.
true. That's why we need jobs.
Huh?
That's why we need jobs.
Barrels with suspenders. We could. Wasn't that? Isn't Donkey Kong hiring? I thought Donkey Kong was hiring.
Well,
He throws the barrels and we give him the barrel and Mario has to jump over him. Remember Mario?
that was a long time ago.
Come on, man. Mario.
Yes, that was a long time ago.
Well, whatever. The point is, our listeners love us, and they're gonna enjoy it. They enjoy our shows. So, yeah, you give a thumbs up and you comment. We love the Sound Guys, and you can catch us on our next live roadshow tour. We're going to be touring the country, doing a book signing in your neighborhood. So,
I guess we got to write a book.
didn't you read the book?
I guess I better finish the book.
This is when we can't trust him to do anything. Well, that's enough. You've wasted another perfectly good hour. It is what it is. We're glad you joined us. We'll catch you on the next side. Nick, tell them all the good things they can find us and how they hook up with us and call us and become our good friends.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching this on YouTube, be sure, hit that like button, click subscribe so you never miss an episode of our wonderful technical genius of how we play with special effects and filters and backgrounds and blurred images and all the crazy things you can expect from a Soundguys podcast. And if you're listening to this on Spotify, Castbox, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you actually listen to podcasts, sorry, you're not getting the cool visual effects, but at least you get our wonderful, beautiful, soothing voices to help guide you
My
through your
baritone.
crazy, stressful, busy days.
My
Exactly.
crazy baritone voice. Listen, baby, listen. All you gotta do is just grab a sack of sweet Valencia oranges. Let them know who's boss and won't leave a bruise. Bah, 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 bah. Bing Crosby, come on. Really? No one gets that?
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any episodes. Give us a liking, a rating. Give us a review, 5 stars on
what?
Apple if possible. And we'll see you next time. Remember to enunciate.
Yeah, enunciate your words, neighborhood Nick. Good Lord. You were almost inciting violence. All right, well, anyways.
There was no violence whatsoever.
Yeah,
I'm a peaceful
whatever.
man.
Cool. Yeah. Okay. Well, cheerio, folks.
A dramatic man, but a peaceful man.
Cheers, everybody. So we'll catch you on the next one now. Hey,
Pip pip cheerio and all that.
bye-bye.
Adios.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Get out.
Bye. Good seeing y'all. Okay, now.
Gone.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Any day now.